Hi all. Today we're going to go through is a Dark and Darker game that's been released recently on the Steam beta download. This is similar to a Tarkov Escape from Tarkov type game, your extraction type shooters. However, instead of being a shooter, it effectively is different classes similar to think kind of like an RPG type system. So you'll have your classes effectively, you like your fighters, your wizards, your clerics and stuff like that, your rogues. And it's kind of based on those kind of medieval dungeon type routes and escaping from those areas as that class that you choose. So it's a spin on those extraction shooters that you typically find with the class base effectively. We've got to give it some good playthrough, so we'll give our honest reviews as we go through. Moving forward into it effectively, you choose your name. You got your different kind of tabs up the top once you load in the game, so you can see classes are coming soon. So there's classes which are cool. Obviously, that will upgrade your skill sets. Don't know what they are yet, but obviously each class will have its own different skill sets. A nifty function you can see when going in the inventory, you can see what each kind of armor and weapon has effect to your, say, physical damage reduction, stuff like that. Similar to what you'd see in an RPG, they've brought it into this extraction mode effectively. And on the right, you got your stash there. You can see your merchants. So I think, as I said, Escape from Tarkov, any extraction shooter with merchants. This is stuff where you can trade and buy from. So you can sell them gear, you can buy the gear from them. Different merchants have different gear, which is pretty cool in itself. Obviously going into the actual customization. So customization has a lot of, well, it doesn't have much at the moment, but I'm assuming you'll have different customization. Obviously you see emotes and stuff like that. Stuff that you can do in the lobbies when you're at the campfire. Also, you got the gathering hall, which is where you can team up with other players if you're going in solo and you want to team up with other players. And then you got the shop. So the shop is quite basic at the moment, but remember, this is only the beta. Has some basic kind of emotes and goes from there. The settings are kind of basic at the moment. Doesn't have a lot of settings. Doesn't kind of need a lot of settings, however, at the moment for the game. You can change the skill bindings and, you know, what you might bring up on the keyboard effectively. Other than that, that's pretty straightforward. Going into beta, you got an actual few different kind of lobby options. So you got Goblin Caves, Forgotten Castle, and a High Roller of Forgotten Castle, which costs gold coins that you extract with effectively. Now, the Goblin Caves, effectively the first one, is solo player. So you go in, everyone is a solo adventurer in that. So there's no teaming up. The Forgotten Castle, you can team up with other players, and that's through that gathering hall function. As you can see, we died. We died again. And we died again. So there is a lot of dying, and we did notice quite early on that the difficulty of the monsters are very hard. If you're a solo adventurer, it is very, very hard. So you do kind of need that team to get involved with. And even then, when we were spectating teams, majority had kind of 3/4, or they'd lost a player or two, and there might have only been one left, and that was majority of teams. The circle does close pretty quickly in the actual game itself. As I said, this is only a beta, so they're still getting their ideas and stuff like that, and they'll still make adjustments before the finished game. It is a very awesome concept, however. I do love the concept. However, they do just need to scale back, in my personal opinion, the enemy damage multipliers for, say, your basic trash mobs and stuff like that. You'll notice kind of 2 to 3 hits and you're pretty much dead. There is some kind of janky movement a little bit, and you can kind of predict some of those trash mobs movements and stuff like that. However, it's still a little bit off, but it overall is a very fun game. They've mixed in the skills well in relation to how you equip him. For example, if you're the cleric, you know, you'll have your staff, and then you'll have your kind of mace effectively and shield also. And you have to change to your staff to conduct an actual spell. It's a very fun game. It would be awesome if you're playing with mates and stuff like that. However, as I said, just fixing up those kind of trash mobs damage rates, which I'm sure they probably will by the time they kind of conclude this game. And we'll go for a bit more footage here, as you can see. Just running through the actual lobbies itself, and you'll get a good feel of the game. So thanks for tuning in on the review of Dark and Darker. As said, there's a few little fixtures that it needs in relations to the trash mob damage multipliers, making it a little bit easier to kind of find those teams in that gathering hall, and just some of those kind of movements. However, the concept behind it is absolute awesome. An extraction type based game mixed in with kind of like an RPG concept of characters in there with those worlds. Such as dungeons and stuff like that. Really awesome concepts. And I definitely recommend jumping on board with playing with mates and stuff like that. If you're a solo adventurer, it's going to be extremely hard, but it probably is achievable. Just majority of the games I saw was most people would die to those kind of trash mobs, or some of the more elite monsters would kill them off by the end of the game, and usually you'd have no one by the end of the game in the single player lobbies from my experience. However, great game to play for a beta. I hope they fix those kind of minor factors around it, and I reckon it should be really good to go from there.